Friday, Q&A, Fanmail. Lovely. I'm in a particularly good mood, and you will find out why tomorrow, so stay tuned. In the meantime, news. I am going to be attending Ragnar Oktoberfest the first weekend of October, so that's going to be a lot of fun. They put on a fabulous event, and this one's pirate-themed, so we're going to have fun with it. And then the following weekend, I will be attending Mutation Mall Madness, Mall Mutation Madness. I'm not sure what order the M's go in. But the mall event in Missouri, the following weekend, that will also be awesome. Looking forward to that. More details as things come about. But this is the official announcement that I will be attending them, and they should both be awesome. Answer some questions, some great questions today. Chris McDonald asked, is Swamp Cat your actual cat, or is she a feral cat? Did you just find her? Yes. She was originally a feral cat. The reason she is called Swamp Cat is less a name. I think there's actually a question about this later on. And more a title, as there is some marshy, kind of swampy land on my property, and that's where she used to live. And then through guile and food, I was able to get her to become a shop cat. So she was living in my shop where I'd set up a bed and would put out food. And then eventually she decided it was time to move into the house. And so I got everything set up for that. And so, yeah, no, she is very much not so much a pet as a familiar at this point. She takes better care of me than I do. She informs me what I need to eat, when it's time to go to bed, stuff like that. But she's still very much an outdoor cat. She hunts snakes. If you saw the live stream last week, I think it was last week, she brought in a snake during the live stream and was ever so pleased with herself. Yeah. Game General. What short darts / short mags would you recommend? Well, a lot of it depends on what blasters you're using, what setting you're using them in, stuff like that. I personally use Talon mags, and particularly I like the 18-round curved Talon mags are my primary. But I do have blasters that take the angled ones, so I do have angled Talon mags, and I do still have some of the straight ones from earlier, and I've got some 10-round ones that I use in certain situations. I even have the 5-round ones. Obviously, I have the Ezekiel's big drum. So yeah, I recommend Talons in general because they're kind of the hobby standard at this point, especially now that Hasbro's gotten in on the game and their mags are Talon mags. The Strife X is Talon mag compatible, and their magazines should therefore be compatible in most other blasters. So Talon definitely seems the way to go. For darts, again, it depends on what you're going for. If you want cheap darts, like if you're going to an HVZ and you're not planning to get most of them back, then the Adventure Force ones that are available at Walmart or Target work great. They're good darts, they're solid darts, they're relatively inexpensive. If you're going for more accuracy, you're going to need to figure out which darts work best in your blaster, because every blaster is a little bit different. Some darts work good in one and not the next, and so on. Bamboos tend to work really well in some things and not well in others. Cut down waffle tips work great in some, don't work well in others. So you're going to need to do some experimenting. Try them and figure out which ones work well for you. Nefamp. What are your thoughts and feelings on otters? I don't know that I have ever taken the time out of my inordinately busy life to develop thoughts or feelings on otters. I know that they're a lot bigger than most people realize. Like, much bigger than people realize. I think I got to see some sea otters when I was in Alaska many, many moons ago. Chris Kush. What are your favorite cut of steak? I am so uncultured as Schweinhund when it comes to steaks. I don't even know what the different cuts are. I've never been a huge steak person. I prefer roasted meat, and my preferred meat for slow cooking in a crock pot until it falls apart is eye of round, because I like the long strings in my roast beef. I'm weird that way. Ben Mayo, have you ever had any ideas in terms of modifying or altering a Centurion? And if so, what would you do? If I were going to do anything to a Centurion, I would do something similar to what Luchathor did and put an air tank in it and make it LPA. He built a car pump and I think a Titan tank into one, and now it is bolt action Mega XL. I mean, with a little bit of design work, you could make a Mega XL magazine, and it would actually work fairly well. I also know Dr. Pugh made one semi-automatic using HPA, and that's pretty awesome. He also has a semi-automatic Roto Fury and a semi-automatic Fortnite grenade launcher. He has mad stuff. But that's what I would do. As far as just trying to upgrade it as a Springer, it's ridiculously complicated and prone to issues. I can't think of anyone who's really truly successfully done it, or made it so that it was easy to do, because the internals are all solvent welded together to try to get it apart and get a heavier spring in there, and then the gear mechanism, and it's a neat mechanism. And I've had some thoughts on how that whole bolt system, where when the bolt is open when the bolt, or the breech is open when the bolt is forward, and when you pull it back it actually primes, which is the opposite of pretty much every other blaster. But there are some potential use for that mechanic that would be kind of interesting to see. I've been discussing with some people as a potential way of building some really neat ideas. So, yeah. Huntress asks, does Swamp Cat like boxes? Oddly enough, no. I have never seen her. She is now murdering a Mega Dart, so she'll probably end up joining us before too long. She's never been one to get into boxes. I have lots of boxes around because I get sent so much stuff, and she's not one to get into them. She is still a bit of a cave puma. She likes going into sneaky places, but boxes, oddly enough, have never really been one of them. She's not one for high places, really, either. And I assume that comes from, living in a swamp and being under the blackberries and all of that, and so, boxes weren't part of something she was used to, and so it's never really been her thing. Robot Monkey, do you grow your own veggies? I don't, but I do have some absolutely fantastic blackberries going. The ones that grow on my porch now. I've cultivated a blackberry patch on my porch. They are quite, without a doubt, the largest and most delicious blackberries I've ever had, and I grew up around blackberries, and I'm used to them being small. These are huge and delicious, and they are ripe. I need to get out there and harvest a bunch and eat them. The Allen Journal has a couple of questions. What is your favorite color for the worker Swordfish? So mine is actually translucent orange. So it comes in clear and blue, but there does in fact exist translucent spray paint. And so I got a clear one and then the translucent spray paint and painted it so it is translucent orange. And I think that looks really cool. So that's my favorite. Second question. Do you know of a half-dart flywheel cage for the Swordfish, and what is your preferred orientation for magazines, angled or straight? So I prefer straight magazines just because I have more of them, though I do have half a dozen angled ones. But it isn't the cage. Any cage, flywheel cage, will work with any darts. The trick is getting a pusher that can actually push the darts, half darts, into the flywheel cage. So, and I'm pretty sure there is, I know there are pushers that work in the Swordfish that are half dart, because they will take any strife pusher, and there are half dart strife pushers, or better yet, a hybrid pusher that can push either length, just depending on what adapter you put it in. So, yeah. Swamp Cat is keeping guard on the door. Ha! I hit! I gotcha. But she may still come join us. Brandon Keller asks, will a Harrier 5-round magazine fit in the Pew Pew? Yes. In fact, I specifically was very glad when I got my hands on 2 Harriers so that I could put 5-round magazines in my Pew Pew, because I was attending an event where they had a magazine cap. You couldn't have more than 6 rounds in a magazine until you unlocked them. And so I had the 5-round mags for my Pew Pew, because they don't make a 6-round that I know of. You could actually use a larger magazine, you just couldn't have more than 6 darts in it, but it was just handy to have the 5-rounders. But I don't think it ever came up, though. Steel Rider. If there was a Nerf air squad, would you want to fight with them or against them? Both. Both would be cool. It would be cool to have an airborne division if there was a way to do it safely if you're on private property and could actually, you know, do that without it being an issue. And it would be great to fight against them, I mean, because then I would have a great excuse to build a Nerf anti-aircraft gun. Get a couple of Rhino fires and build a quad gun. That would be fabulous. And the second question, are you going to the Renaissance Fair? Which one? There's a lot of them around here. But I'm not going to anyone, so the answer is still no. J. Kyle Hamilton has 4 questions. Will Nerf ever die? I know a bit vague, but I doubt you can't work with that. Probably eventually. I mean, things change, the world changes, who knows what will happen in 10, 20, 30 years. Nerf has been a thing since the 70s, so it's 50 years now, and it's only getting stronger, so it isn't going to die anytime soon, but given enough time, I mean, eventually, you know, the inevitable heat death of the universe, the expansion of Sol into a supernova, eventually. 2. To nerfify or not to nerfify a train? If so, what would it include? Well, depending on what you're doing exactly. If you're making like a train into a mobile Nerf arena, that would be awesome. Where you're fighting your way from train car to train car, battling your way up. Well, that you'd have to have all kinds of obstacles and puzzles and cool stuff to work your way through. If you're making a train that's being attacked, like there's actually the big amusement park in Idaho is called Silverwood, and during the Halloween season they turn it all into a giant haunted house called Scarywood, and one of the things they have is a train that goes all the way around it that you can take just to have a train ride, and they talk about history and prospecting and trains in the Old West and all that. But during Scarywood, zombies attack the train and you have to fight them off, I think with squirt guns, because that doesn't require any cleanup and isn't going to hurt anybody. But it'd be really cool if they did it with Nerf, to do it as, you know, an HVZ where the train is being attacked from the outside. And that would also just be absolutely awesome. 3. Is Swamp Cat the official name? My wife wants to know. So, as I said, Swamp Cat isn't so much a name as a title. She was a cat that came from the swamp, and therefore she is Swamp Cat. I imagine she has a name, but it's in cat, and I don't speak cat, and I didn't feel that I had the right to presume to give her another name, so instead I gave her the title of Swamp Cat. And oh, there she is. She's now in the attic, no doubt, running amok. And the final question, 4, need a merch design guru? Probably. I've got the World Foam Alliance is doing some stuff to help those of us that have gotten on board with that, but if you have any ideas, I'm definitely all ears. Someone else is actually designing, I think they're designing stickers. And Al the Geek keeps telling me I need to get on Sticker Mule and get stickers made. I need stickers, and I really need business cards, because of how often I, run into somebody and try to explain what I do, and to be all easy to go, here's my card, check me out on YouTube. Because no one can ever remember Captain Xavier, apparently. She's on the move again. Alan Sutherland. What is your favorite Friday Q&A fan mail hat? Captain Squid. Hands down. Captain Squid. In fact, I'm going to put Captain Squid back on right now, because Captain Squid is the best. I also very much like my Bishop Mitre and my Jafar hat. And the beanie. I want a motorized beanie, because Calvin had one. Though apparently it's somewhat disappointing, but I still want one. Alright, next question. Django Rumrunner, what do you do with all those third-eyed flashlights you receive for review? They're hanging on my tool wall over here, and I use them to illuminate the darkness. I've got a couple that I take to events with me. The one that's got the red filter obviously is one. I have trashy neighbors. I also have some really big ones. I take them to the big camping event, so I took a bunch of them to Afterworlds because it was dark there and we were camping, so having big flashlights was handy. Headlamps are great I take to events if it's going to be dark by the time we're doing dart sweep, because having a headlamp just makes it so much easier to sweep darts. Somebody gave me a UV flashlight, and I don't know where it went. Because UV flashlights are great for finding darts in the dark, because an awful lot of darts, either the foam or the heads, will luminesce under a black light, which makes them really easy to find in the dark, so that's handy. And the final question, while my neighbor screeches in the background, Rex Regim asks, what software or other such ways did you use to design the X-Strike logo? So, I'm somewhat ashamed to admit that I did it with Microsoft Paint. And I just took the Zombie Strike logo and cleaned it up. So the Zombie Strike one's all irregular and gnarly and bloody, and I made it a nice, clean, crisp X-Strike logo instead of their Z. Just replaced the Z with an X. But I did it in Paint. And I do have one that's, I actually keep the files on my phone, both in a JPEG and PNG. The PNG is handy because it's transparent and it makes it apparently really easy for people to then make it to add it to an STL. That's why I've got my logo printed in so many things, is because I can send them the PNG and they can easily add it in. I haven't learned how to do that yet, so I can't add my own logo to my own prints. But I'm starting to finally actually learn how to properly use 3D development tools as opposed to just doing everything in my slicer because I'm a monkey. Now. Alright. A little bit low, but I hit the bipod. I have two Package. One of them, I have no idea what's going on with, and the other one sounds suspiciously like happiness. I hope I'm not let down. But I wasn't expecting either of these. I probably should have been expecting one of them, but I don't think I was expecting either. So we're going to take a look at that after these potential messages. Because train? The trains don't make me any money. Alright, let's take a look at what we got. Make sure this stays in my head. We're going to take a look at this one first. This is, at first I thought it was somebody sending me a blaster to review because it looks like it's, a bullet-jumping toy foam blaster. That made sense. And it turns out it is. It just isn't the one that's on the box. Oh, there is a note. Oh, thank goodness. Oh, look, and stickers. Speaking of stickers, now I've got stickers. What do we got? We have a note. Dear Captain Xavier, I hope this letter finds you well and in all good spirits and humility, willing to look upon another's work with the care and attention with which you have completed them. Or we have completed them. Absolutely. I'm in a good mood and I am looking, I have no idea what's going on, but I'm so excited. Enclosed within this unassuming cardboard carton is the increasingly infamous Talon Axe Armory's custom Betty Blooper GL-06 foam howitzer. That is a name. We found this item some months ago and have continued iterating on it as a team ever since Alan began developing a range of shells codenamed after Archie Comics characters due to a misunderstanding in the naming convention that brought me the Betty Blooper. What goes into Betty? This blaster has received the standard Talon Axe Armory upgrade for a Betty Blooper, which includes a K-17 spring replacement and plunger lubricant job. Also included in this package is a complete set of our 3D printed shells. These shells are compatible with the other howitzer M40 shell foam blasters, including the M79, which we refer to as Veronica. We have lovingly taken to calling it the Riverdale Shells ecosystem. I dig it. With the included upgrades, Betty should be able to launch Mega XL from the Archie class shell at approximately 60 FPS. If you find the Mega XL dart a bit tight, give it a squeeze or two and it should fit better. Included in the shell set are the following: Archie, the Mega XL, Josie, Mega, the Pussycats, 2 Mega, Jughead, 5 Half Dart, Jughead Special, 5 Elite or 10 Half Dart, Sabrina, 3 Elite or 6 Half Dart, Salem, 3 Half Dart, Moose, 2 to 3 Rival High Impact rounds. That is amazing. The last item enclosed in this parcel are the official Talon X Armory patch and stickers for 2023. Please enjoy them as we put away more time into design and having them made than we probably should have. Also included some stickers you can use to customize the blaster a bit, or just slap them wherever, whatever you're interested. If you're interested, you can find more about this and so much more at both our YouTube and Etsy pages. YouTube.com at TalonXArmory and Etsy's.com shop TalonXArmory. Links will be in the description, of course. We're a big fan and love what you do and are striving to promote similar values and spirit in the local foam flinging community. Looking forward to hopefully seeing you at Mall Madness 4 in St. Louis in October. Well, good news! Lies le bon mousse volaire. James and Alan, Talon X Armory. Well, that is amazing. I was actually looking into getting one of these, and now I don't have to. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Woo! That does have a bit of, how am do? Does it just tilt? I don't want to break it. How am make open? I found the release. All right. Well, we've got dual mega, single mega. Or no, that's rival. That's mega, mega XL, triple. 5, 3, 5. Oh, that is cool. And the stock ones that it came with. Super cool. I assume that's the stock spring. Oh, they're patch. Talon Armory. That is going on the wall for now. It'll eventually end up on whatever loadout I use for this thing. I'm gonna need to get something that can hold these. I might have, that vest might actually be perfect. That would be amazing. Oh, I like it. That is cool. Yes, I will absolutely be doing a video on this, giving y'all a shout out. Oh, look at all the stickers. Ah, the squid's off. Oh, that is, it's the teeth and eye thing. I will paint this up and probably put that on there. We got their stickers. We got their stickers. We got the face for both sides. Brilliant. Brilliant. That is super cool. All right, yes, there will be a review on this. That is so awesome of you. I don't remember if they reached out to me or if it just showed up. Either works, honestly. If you reach out to me, we can coordinate stuff. If you just send me stuff, you send me stuff, and I will do videos on it. That is just super cool. All right. Squid can stay here. All right, we've got this one. And it sounds suspiciously like happiness. I really hope there's happiness in here. I could use a bit more. I'm having a good day, and this would just make it so much better. Note! Captain Xavier, I hope this letter finds you well and enjoying the summer. I am, actually. The weather has not been bad. It cooled off, finally. I'm sending you this package as an apology for the incomplete Star Wars Turbo Tank Microfighter kit that was in the last package. I was able to get all of the parts. There were a couple of parts that if they hadn't been there, I didn't have them, but I had all the parts. It's fun. How How dare you? And you think this is enough to make? I can't. No. Yes, you're awesome. Your gracious invite to the makerspace makes it important to me to make up the oversight. I enjoy building the set that is in this box, and it looks great on a shelf. That said, I do not need a double, and I have plenty of gray bricks for the collection already. I think you will have fun building this set. If not, more gray bricks for the bin. I've also included some various root beer flavored treats. Oh, this is such a good day. For you to enjoy and share with all, they will get none of my root beer candies. All who come to your fields and the makerspace. I also have a couple of foam flinging questions for you, if you wouldn't mind. Is there anything that you do or could recommend to improve the accuracy of a flywheel blaster? When traveling with 3D printed blasters, what do you do to keep them protected from the heat in transit? Okay, so improving the accuracy of your flywheel blaster. The first thing is making sure that the wheels are balanced and in there properly and that the pusher is lining up. Wheel misalignment is a big thing that can mess things up. There are also having the better cages. There is a difference between what flywheel cages you get. The ones that have a guide for the pusher definitely help make sure that the dart always goes in exactly the same, as opposed to maybe getting pushed in slightly wonky because there's no guide. And having an actual short barrel on the outside apparently does actually make a difference. I was able to do a little bit of research on canted flywheels at one point. I did a video about it a while back. And they seem to help a little bit. They do impart a certain amount of spin, but I wasn't able to determine whether it was enough to really make a huge difference. But any kind of added spin to a projectile almost always improves accuracy. So if there is a canted cage for that particular blaster, you can consider that. They are now finally managing to develop rifling for flywheelers. There's a couple out there that people have managed to get working, and I think it's the bearing scars that seem to work the best. I could be wrong. I haven't looked into it that much because extreme accuracy is not something I've terribly been worried about. That's why I use a minigun. But there are definitely ways that you can improve the performance. Also, your ammo. Consistent ammo is also important. If you're using a random bin full of random darts, you're going to get inconsistent performance because you're using inconsistent darts. So, figuring out which darts work best, because you'd be amazed how much of a difference one dart to a next can actually make in a blaster. So figuring out which ones work best in yours and then trying to exclusively use that. Because if you tune it for one ammo type and then you switch to another, it may not be as well tuned for that one. So experimentation is a big part as well. So when traveling with 3D printed blasters, I travel with a trunk. So I have a hard-shelled trunk that I travel with. And as long as you don't leave things in the car in 100-degree weather, which I did once, they should be fine. Also, depending on the 3D prints, there are materials that are more resistant to heat than others. ABS, PETG, nylon, fiber reinforced nylon have a higher melting temperature than PLA. But generally, as long as they're not left in the car when it's 100 degrees, they should be okay. And having them in something, I mean, if worst case, you could put them in something insulated. You could put them in a cooler with ice if you were really worried about it. But generally, just don't leave it in the locked car in 100 degrees. All right. Thank you again for all the foam and Lego related content. Bangarang, Dan Buddha. Dan, you are awesome, and I cannot wait to see what you have, what's in here. We have, well, what do we have? Root beer jelly beans. Fabulous. What do I have here? Root beer. I think, actually, I don't know what this is. It smells like root beer. Could all smell like root beer. I have no idea. Savor something superior. They look like root beer wedges. Yep. Root beer gummy fruit gel candy. Root beer gummies? Yes. What do we got here? Old-fashioned candy sticks. 80 candy. I'm having a candy stick. You just try and stop me. Come on. You will give me the candy stick, you recalcitrant box. They do not appear to have weathered the trip well. They appear to be in pieces for the most part. That'll happen. But that's okay, because I can just... There's a section. Alright, and finally, my ears did not deceive me, there was happiness, and it is the small Death Star model. That is awesome. That is getting built and put on display. Oh, it's a Death Star 2. Very cool. Very cool. That is super cool. Wonder why they didn't make that trans green. Interesting. It's a great way to do that, though. That is awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you all for the lovely gifts, the lovely blasters, the lovely stuff, the snacks. You people spoil me rotten. It's a good day. Having a good day. So yeah, if you have questions you want asked, you can ask it in the comments of this video. That is where I will draw next week's, or 2 weeks from now. Also, I made a video about this, but Al the Geek and I will now be streaming through the World Foam Alliance, and it will be a call-in show. So you can call in and ask your question in person, or ask for advice, or call us old men. Eventually get told to get off our lawn. It's gonna be good. Good. There's stuff happening. I am excited about the things that are happening. So it's a time to be in the hobby. Right. Thank you for watching.